What's happening, racing fans? Welcome back to the channel, brought to you in association with betting.co.uk. I'm Ginger Joe and I'm back with part 3 of my Ante Post compilation series. And I just want to say a big thank you to everyone that's tuned into part 1 and part 2, and a massive thank you to everybody that's got involved so far. It's been a great success, particularly by my standards, and I'm really grateful to everyone that's got involved and everyone that's viewed so far. Now, before I go into the next episode and drop you my first selection, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel as I try and reach 1,000 subscribers before the Cheltenham Festival. I've got about 6 weeks to do that now, and I think I need about 70 of you just to click that subscribe button for me. But we'll get straight on to the next Ante Post selection, and I'm going to take a little bit of a stab at this one. 40-1 shot in the Albert Bartlett for Absolute Notions. Now, he is coming over to Leopardstown this weekend to take a chance on the Nathaniel Lacey, and I think he's actually going to run a really nice race. I actually think he's a bit of a forgotten horse. He won 2 real nice races at Punchestown before finishing 3rd at Naas, and that was behind In the Pocket and 3-card Bragg. Only 4 lengths to find with those two, and definitely had conditions that was going to suit the first and the second that day. But he stayed on really nicely, did his best work late on, and I think we've actually only just scratched the surface of Absolute Notions. He did actually cost 370k for the Rob Kerr team. I think he's going to go really well this weekend, and I don't even think he's got to win this race to be shortened in the market. I think he's a little bit of a forgotten horse, hoping he can go really well. Absolute Notions for me in the Albert Bartlett at 40-1.
Hello and welcome back to the countdown to Cheltenham with Ginger Joe Racing. Thanks a lot for having me on, and I'm going to start a few arguments and a few conversations in the chat now. American Mike for the Ballymore, 20-1. I think this is actually quite a good bet. Now, the trainer Gordon Elliott has won this race multiple times before, most recently with Envar LN, who you can draw a few similarities between American Mike and Envar LN. There was both very good bumper horses, and they both kind of looked workmanlike over hurdles in the first couple of starts. American Mike made his debut over 2 miles 6 furlongs. He made a few bad mistakes on his way around, but the business end of the race was good enough. He then dropped back to 2.5 miles on very soft ground and was probably always going a yard too fast out in front. He did get very tired then, but he has had 2 months off the track. He has been a very tall horse. I think he would have filled out into his form a little bit more, improved for some time off the track, and if he comes back and runs a good race at the Dublin Racing Festival, I think he'd half in price for the Ballymore. It's one where he probably could step up and run in the Albert Bartlett, but I do think he has a turn of foot. We have seen it in bumpers. We haven't seen it yet over hurdles, but I'm going to give American Mike another chance at 20-1. Now, not many people will agree with me at all, but I think it is worth a play at 20-1. So American Mike in the Ballymore hurdle for me.
Morning, Joe. Thank you for inviting me back to episode 3 of the Cheltenham Road to Cheltenham series. Obviously, I've come actually down to the course today to have a look, and obviously gives people a highlight of how close I actually am to the race course. So far this year, I've given 2 selections: Mighty Potter in the Turners and Colonel Mustard in the Grand Annual. And my 3rd selection also comes in a handicap. It's Matigue for Emmett Mullins, and that is in the Boodles. This horse I thought was a triumph horse when I first saw him win at Sedgefield. I thought he was very impressive, won very well, and then since then he's had another run in Ireland and then gone to France as well, where he finished 2nd to St Donald's, I think is how you pronounce it, but in a very heavy ground. They went round the inside, which is the heaviest part of the ground, and I don't think he liked it one bit. I think back on ground, better ground, back at Cheltenham, they've obviously thought he's a triumph horse to start with. He's now entered in the Boodles. I think that's where he'll go, so I'm going to put him up at 16-1 for the Boodles. 6 weeks to go, and it all looks nice and quiet here at the present, but I'm sure it won't be like that in 6 weeks' time. Thank you. See you later.
Hello to Ginger Joe and all his followers. Thank you for having me on. I am Lee from the Only Fools Love Horses group, and my fancy for the Cheltenham Festival is Magical Zoe. She'll take a chance in the Mayor's Novice on the Thursday. She won over this trip the last day, 2 mile 1, and she'll handle any conditions. She's won on soft, good and good yielding, so conditions won't be a problem for her. She will beat a strong field the last day in a grade 3 at Down Royal in November. She beat Nikini of Willie Mullins, but in behind was the Model Kingdom, who's come out and run 2nd in Perry Pass. C'est La Vie was in behind. She won a listed race, beat Harmonia Maker and Bella Scintilla. Harmonia Maker has bolted up since, and also Liberty Dance, who beat the Model Kingdom again in a listed race. So the strong form lines in behind. I think around 9 to 1 is available, and she's got a good chance. Hopefully go close for connections, as the race will be named after Jack de Bromhead and Henry de Bromhead trains. So bet responsibly, keep following Ginger Joe, and good luck.
Hey guys, Dave here from the finishing line, and I'm on to give you an Ante Post selection for the Cheltenham Festival. My selection is Sander Clegane in the Albert Bartlett Novices Hurdle on the Friday. I still think he's overpriced 10 to 1. He's running at the Dublin Racing Festival. Hope to see him win there or run well and then step up and trip. We know he's going to the race. Paul Nolan already said he was. His form ties in strongly with good novices this year. Bumper form last year with Fasta Vega, novice hurdle form this year with 3 Car Bragg, who I know people fancy. So he is my selection, and best of luck.
Hi Joe, thanks for inviting me to part 3 of the Cheltenham Ante Post tipping series we've got going here. My third tip comes in St Sam in the Stayers Hurdle, in which he's an unexposed horse. He's not yet raced over the trip, however he is trained by the master, that is Willie Mullins, who knows how to win the race with the likes of Nichols Canyon and Penn Hill in recent years. Now St Sam ran over hurdles just after Christmas, beating any second now in a hurdle race over 2 mile free. Now the trainer's been quoted on record as hoping to step St Sam up in trip. He thinks he'll relish it, which I agree with, being by St Deson. When you look at St Sam's runs over fences last year, obviously he's coming over hurdles this year. I don't think they're the worst runs in the world. Obviously the novice chase that happened at Punchestown, he was right with the likes of Blue Lord when he fell at the second last, which after that it was race over. So I'm hoping St Sam can spring a little bit of a shock in the race. I think looking at Stayers Hurdle field is full of some regressive horses, and with the likes of Tehupu at the top of the market, I just want to take him on. So he'll go with my other 2 tips that I've put up in First Street in the County Hurdle and Echoes in Rain in the Mayor's Hurdle. So fingers crossed St Sam can deliver the goods when it comes to Cheltenham.
Hi everyone, Evan here at Cheltenham Time on Twitter and YouTube. Thanks Joe for having me back on. My selection for this video is Dark Raven at 33 to 1 for the Ballymore. Now I'm recording this on the 25th of January and entries have just come out for the Novice Hurdle Division, and Dark Raven is entered in both the Supreme and the Ballymore. Now when this horse started out his career, was tipped up to be a 3 mile chaser in time, but faced a setback last year. So after 2 impressive flat runs back in start of 2021, was out, and we didn't see him again until December 2022, just gone. In those previous runs, on his second start, beat So Scottish, who is favourite for the plate this year. And in the race just gone, beat a horse called Dr. Bravo, who has again franked the form this week as I'm recording this by beating the Big Doyen, who beat a horse called Hunter's Yarn. So Dark Raven beat Dr. Bravo, who beat the Big Doyen, who beat Hunter's Yarn. And both Dark Raven and Hunter's Yarn are 33 to the Ballymore. So I think that represents value in itself. It's not quite that straightforward, as we know. Look, there's different distances in there, there's different timescales, etc, etc. But overall, I think Dark Raven has a great shot for the Ballymore in a market where, Willie's got a horse at 3 to 1 in Impere Pass, who, is his form any better than Dark Raven? Maybe slightly. He's beaten the Model Kingdom, but I think, on form lines, they look very similar, and there's a massive discrepancy in the market. So without going into any more detail, Dark Raven, 33 to 1 for the Ballymore. Cheers, Joe. Thanks again.
Hi, Ginger Joe and guys. Thanks for asking me back for part 3, Joe, for our Ante-Post selections. It's Sizing Rods, Scott here. So my third pick is one, I'm going to try and do something from left field, really, and something at a bit of a price. He may be a runner, or he may not be a runner, but he's got an entry, and it's for the Ryanair Chase. And at the moment, he's 14 to 1 on the sportsbook, a bit of 20s about on the machine. And he's a horse that I've backed already, and I took about 50s on the exchanges a few weeks ago, and that's Pick Dorey for Paul Nicholls in the Ryanair Chase. And the reason I'm backing Pic Dory solely because I do think at the moment and this season he's been the best 2.5 miler in the UK. Might divide opinion there because there is some good horses, but I just looking at the Ryanair market, it's the most up in the air market at the moment with obviously Allaho, the Ante Post favourite, around 7-4. We don't know if he's even well at the moment. If he gets there on the day and they back him, he's probably going to win and make it 3 in a row. But at the prices, I think Pic Dory is worth a punt. Just looking above him in the betting at the moment, you've got the likes of Allaho, obviously, and the other 4 horses above him in the betting are Blue Lord, who's most likely going to go to the Champion Chase. I'm obviously recording this before Erdeman runs tomorrow on Trials Day, but Blue Lord probably will go the Champion Chase. Gallopin Des Champs also is above him in the betting. He's most likely to go at the Gold Cup if he wins the Irish Gold Cup next week. And then you've got the likes of Shishkin, who's in the market above him, who's probably not going to run again this season. And then you're looking down there and you've got Pic Dory just staring at you. The only other one that's in the race is Fakir Dudaries. I wasn't impressed with him the other day, and I think Houghton Couler potentially probably should have beaten him if he stood up. I just think Pic Dory, he's probably better going the other way around. He had some good wins at Kempton, Newton Abbott, and he put in a very good performance in the Peterborough Chase at Huntington. And I know he's prone to mistakes, but at the prices, I'm just going to take a chance on Pic Dory. And if he turns up on a day, he will get backed. I think he'll go for a single figure price. So Pic Dory at 14s is my last pick for part 3. Good luck, everybody.
Hello everyone, Ian here from the Cheltenham Exchange. Thank you to Ginger Joe for having me on for a 3rd time for your new video. So again, thank you very much. My next pick is going to be in the Triumph Hurdle, and it's going to be Comfort Zone, which I will advise to go each way at 10-1. So just a bit of background. He won his maiden hurdle at Navan in November, beating Jazzy Matty and Declan, who both went on to win their next races. Declan is near the top of the market for the Boodles. Comfort Zone was then 6 1/4 lengths third to Lossiemouth at Fairyhouse in December, which is good form as it is. And then Comfort Zone went to win a juvenile hurdle at Chepstow, where he beat Dixon Cove, who was into second. Last time out, obviously, was Saturday, where he won at Cheltenham, beating Scriptwriter into second by 3/4 of a length, and Dixon Cove into third. So it was a nice ride by John Joe, mid-division most of the way, challenged into second at the last, and then led into the last 100 yards. I found out today that Comfort Zone has got an Irish mark of 132. He did run off of 130 for at Cheltenham on Saturday. So I expect him to go up a few pounds, maybe up to 135, 136. So he could potentially go to the Boodles, but I would say he'd be JP's best target for the Triumph Hurdle. So thank you, Joe, for having me on again, and good luck with your bets.
Hi all from Harps Bar. Just finished another grueling shift at Royal Mail. Just a big shout out again to Ginger Joe for the invite to put another selection up. And this time it's going to be in the Brown Advisory. It's Jerry Colomb. I put him up on my own videos at a massive 33-1. I still think, you know, at 7-8-1, he could go off a lot shorter on the day, especially if it's soft ground. I think he'll be nearer like the, 9-4, 3-1 shot. I think he's a bit of a weapon. And as I say, I can't have the notion that he's going to go the National Chase myself. I just think he's too good a horse for that. So it's Jerry Colomb for me, guys. Until next time, peace out from Harps Bar.
Hello everyone, Andrew here again from the Finish Line podcast with my second Ante Post selection for Ginger Joe. So last time I put up Jerry Colomb as 16-1 for the National Hunt Chase. He's now currently 6-1, which is, as our Tom likes to say, the value has been had. But my second selection is going to come in the Stairs Hurdle, and that is Marie's Rock at 10-1. Now, I put up on our own show just there last night, and the reason behind it all came down to what Epitante done over the weekend. So in my eyes, they won't run Epitante and Marie's Rock in the same race. Epitante won well at the weekend, which just goes to show how good Constitution Hill is. So now they can easily split up the three of them. Constitution Hill wins the Champion Hurdle. Epitante will go very close in the Mayor's Hurdle, and then you are left with Marie's Rock, who I think personally should go to the Stairs Hurdle. I don't think there's any problem with her staying. She's won over all kinds of trips, 2 miles, 2.5 miles. And I think the step up in 3 miles would be no bother to her whatsoever. It's a wide open race. It's crying out for a standout horse. I don't like T. Hoopo at the top of the market, 11-4. I think he's way too short for what he's done. At the end of the day, he's beat Somerville Boy in a Galmai hurdle, which race just does not have a good record when it comes to the Stairs Hurdle. So that's a big negative for me, in my opinion. His form last season tailed off in the springtime. So he wouldn't be for me whatsoever. And then there's a lot of question marks over the likes of Paisley Park. Who else do we have in it? We have Home by the Lee, who probably is the most solid one out of it. He's the one that's at their improvement tons this season. I put him up twice this season. So he's one as well that would stick out. But I think Marie's Rock at 10-1 is a great bet for the Stairs Hurdle. You can also get her at, I think, 5-6-1 non-runner, no bet with a few of the farms, but she's 10-1 in a normal Ante Post market. So yeah, Marie's Rock 10-1 is my second selection for Ginger Joe for the Stairs Hurdle.
Hi everyone, the Racing Boyo here. I've been asked once again by Ginger Joe for another tip for the Cheltenham Festival, and this time we're looking at one of the handicaps. We've gone for something in the Pertemps, and at 20-1 my selection is the John Joe O'Neill trained on Tailleur. He's qualified for the race. He finished third in a qualifier at Cheltenham back in October. It was quite a strong race. The form has worked out well, with the second going on to win a big handicap since. And he stayed well in the race. He galloped up the hill well, and at 20-1, I think that on Tailleur is a terrific value bet in the Pertemps.
Hi, this is Jamie Ryan here. You might know me from the Dave Cheltmental channel. Thanks to Ginger Joe for having me. My first Ante Post tip for the Cheltenham Festival is in the champion bumper, and that's Queen's Gamble. If you look back at Queen's Gamble's form, rocked up in his debut at Cheltenham on good ground. Second, third, fourth and fifth come out and won. They're decent mares. But what impressed me, they went to the November meeting there and won as she liked, a good time at the November meeting. I find it very hard for all the rest of the bumper horses to give her £7 in a bumper. I suppose the time form ratings came out, but it's for me Encanto Bruno and wrapped up in May ahead of her, but she's the same ratings as Facile Mode. Now I'll see Facile Mode at the Dublin Race Festival again to make my own judgment, but still at top price at 8-1 for the Brits against the Irish. I will go with Queen's Gamble, and thanks for Ginger Joe for having me. Thank you.
Hey, it's Declan from the USL podcast. My next Ante Post selection is Captain Guinness for the Champion Chase, who's available at 50-1. This race is beginning to look more and more open since the weekend, and Captain Guinness has looked a much stronger horse this year, winning the Fortrea chase at Navan quite easily before chasing home Blue Lord at Leopardstown. He was just outstayed by Blue Lord at Leopardstown, but that race is over 2 miles and 1 furlong. The race at Cheltenham is just short of 2 miles, and there'll be less emphasis on stamina, and I think this horse has plenty of speed, and 50-1 is just too big to ignore.
Hi Joe, it's Lauren here. Thanks a lot for inviting me on your channel. Sorry I couldn't take part in the first few legs. I am actually here at Cheltenham, the home of jump racing. It's the end of Trials Day now, and I am going to give you some selections anti-post for the big meeting itself. I'm going to get back home first and I'll be back with my selections. Okay, here goes with my anti-post selections for the big meeting. One thing I have noticed so far, having watched the first few episodes, is that there isn't a huge female contribution. So I am here to change that. Now, I have recorded this once already and it was 5.5 minutes. So if I'm rattling through these, I apologise, but I'm just trying to get it all in and not to take over the whole channel. So anyone who knows me, I think, would be shocked if I didn't select my first mare, which is the mighty Honeysuckle. She is about to head to Leopardstown to win her 4th Irish champion, and I really don't see any reason to believe why she won't or can't go on and win her 3rd Cheltenham champion hurdle. We know Constitution Hill looks very good, and obviously the world and his wife are very opinionated on his ability. But, we know that Honey is very aware of the business end of the season. She's got the best jockey on board, and at championship level, she's been there, she's done it. She's got the t-shirt, she signed the autograph, she stopped for the photos on the way. She's going to go out on a high, and you should be backing her now before she wins at the weekend. Straight after the champion, we're on to the Mares Hurdle, which I think is one of the races of the festival. Very, very hotly contested. Marie's Rock heads the market and is a very worthy favourite in my opinion. The way she won on New Year's Day was mightily impressive. She just travels so well. She's so economical over the hurdles and then picks those knees up and really scoots up that hill. And, you know, she's no stranger to it either. She won this last year. She did the same at Punchestown, and obviously she came again and won on New Year's Day at Cheltenham. The thing about her is she goes on good, she goes on soft, she goes on good to soft. I think that's really key. Another real favourite of mine is Love Envoi. I would love her to win it as well, but obviously we can only pick one. And I think she's perhaps a little bit more ground dependent. She really loves it soft. So as an Ante Post selection where we don't know the going just yet, I think I'm going to be sticking with Marie's Rock. On to the Wednesday now, and I cannot wait for the bumper. It's not a race which everybody loves, but it is certainly one which throws out some really good form and multiple winners, and I am very keen on Queen's Gamble. Only 2 runs to her name, but both convincing wins, and both at Cheltenham, which I think is very key. Course form, really important for, you know, in the early stages of these horses' lives and careers. Johnny Burke was really impressed second time around at Cheltenham, and he thinks that she doesn't actually know her own ability. But again, a little bit like Marie's Rock, the way she kicks off that bend, she travels so well, she's really explosive. You are definitely going to have to really go some to stick with her or catch her. Obviously, we know that Willie's going to be bringing plenty of ammunition to the bumper, but I would really love Oliver Sherwood to get his first festival win since the mid-90s, can you believe? And I really think that she can be the one. A little bit more content about her on my Twitter page, but I won't take up any more time with that now. I'm going to go on to my final selection, and possibly my most confident of all, that is Ashroe Diamond. My goodness, I love this girl, and she is going to win the Mares Novice Hurdle on the Thursday. I first started following her at the Dublin Racing Festival last year. She was 4th in a national hunt flat race. You could have thrown, you know, a tea towel or a handkerchief over the first 5, and she really hasn't stopped impressing since then. She was a runaway victory at Aintree, and then she suffered from, not sure if she actually had colic or if it was just colicky symptoms, and they had to delay her return home. But this season, touch wood, she's all fine, and you know, she's gained black type in really top class races, 3rd in the Royal Bond, 9 lengths behind Facile Vega, as well as another lovely run this weekend, and just showing how well she glides through her races and has that little burst to finish. I do think she will be even better next year at the, you know, the standard 2 mile 4 mares trip, but I cannot encourage you enough to hang your hat on her for the festival. I could go on, but that's it from me for now. Thanks again, Joe, for letting me have my say on your channel, and good luck with your selections, everyone.
Hey there, my name is Samantha Martin, and I'm a journalist, content creator and podcaster. I'm really excited to be giving you an Ante Post selection for the Ginger Joe Racing Show. My selection is Hidden Heroics. Now, he's entered in both the Brown Advisory and the National Hunt Chase, but I do think the National Hunt Chase looks the best option for him. He's around about 25 to 1 shot at the minute. We haven't seen him for a little while. He started his season with a pulled off effort over hurdles, then he was like a duck to water, going over fences at Exeter. He won there, and then he went and romped him by 45 lengths over 3 miles, 1.5 furlongs at Cheltenham. Both those races were in small fields, so it's a little bit difficult to work out how he'd fare in one of these big Cheltenham races, but the National Hunt Chase doesn't typically have a massive field. I think he'll most definitely stay, and he could be a really interesting horse. Obviously, the Skeltons are in such great form winning big races. I think it will be surprising for them not to have a Cheltenham Festival winner this year, and hopefully they can get off the mark early on Tuesday with Hidden Heroics.
Hi, I'm Dawn Leeden-Bolger. Dawn is May on Twitter, most likely to be seen at any parade ring or trackside in an Irish, English, French or anywhere else racecourse I can get to. Also a proud syndicate member of the Keep Smilings, where we always say, in life or in racing, we always keep smiling. Our country queen has done us so proud and continues to keep us smiling. I'm also live from the horse box every Thursday night, picking winners for the weekend with Racing Social. And so, with a little bit of the country queen sprinkle in here, I was lucky enough to see my Ante Post bet for Cheltenham at the Galway Festival last year. His name is the mighty, the wonderful, the handsome Champ Kylie. A gorgeous story for a horse that did not cost that much. 5,800 he was bought for. Willie liked the look of him after he seen him run at a point-to-point for Pat Doyle in the colours of Kevin Cairns, who asked Rachel Robinson to buy him from Glenview Stud on behalf of Kevin himself and Mike Murray. Champ Kylie is named after Kevin and Mike's grandfather, Mikey Kylie, who was a tillage farmer in Dungarvan Bay, where Champ Kylie spent his early years. Champ Kylie took my attention at Galway. He was brave. The way Paul spoke about him afterwards, and Willie, you could not be excited. That day, Esperti ended up second behind him, who has gone on and won. And Dawn Rising, who we've seen made American Mike look ordinary at Navan, went on and won since. He then ran a Tipperary in the Grade 3, beating the mighty Brazil in excellent form under Danny Mullins. And then we waited and we waited, and I waited for the Royal Bond, where he went off favourite. That day the rain came and I worried, but he still ran a very, very respectable fourth. I didn't give up the ghost on him. Marine Nationale won that day, Irish Point was second, and Ashrow Diamond, who we've seen is quite an exciting novice mare, won at Fairy House the weekend just gone. Champ Kylie fourth, and then Christmas came and went, and then Christmas came again for all the Champ Kylie fans, and he went on and he won at Lawler's Grade 1. That day Danny was back on him and gave him the most superb ride, leading all the way with Irish Point in second and Dawn Rising in third. After that, Champ's price was slashed from 16s for the Ballymore into 6-1, 7 in places. I already have him at 16s. I have a theory he will not go for the Supremes against Facile Vega, the horse with the Midas touch. And so I'm pretty confident that my Champ Kylie, my darling boy, for the Mastersons and for Emily, his groom, will hack up in the Ballymore. I know we all talk about Impere Pass, and I know people will challenge me on it, but I never give up the faith and I never give up my love. So my Ante Post bet is all the way 7-1. How's it going? Keep smiling, stay racy, and follow Champ Kylie all the way possible, as far as he can go, to Cheltenham!
Good evening, hope you're all doing well watching the video. Thank you very much, Ginger Joe, for having me back on the YouTube channel. For myself, I had to take a little further look into the Ante Post markets. Goodland not going for the Albert Bartlett anymore and going to the Ballymore means I can have another look at the Bartlett. And Favroy de Champdu, I've given that an absolute murdering on the name there, but we're going to go for it. Gordon Elliott's Gigginstown runner is going to be my fancy at 14-1 for the race at the current stage. Already a Grade 2 winner over hurdles. Let's be clear about it. Gavin Cromwell's runner, who's won the next time out. So the form's worked out there. He's already run 3 times in a point-to-point, 3 times in a bumper, and 4 times over hurdles. So he's a battle-hardened horse, which is what you like for an Albert Bartlett. Was 4th in a bumper where Fernie Hollow's in second, so he's got decent quality about him. And at 14-1, I'd be happy to take a little early fancy on him. Thank you very much, and I hope you're all having...
Hello everyone, Racing Gav here First of all, I just wanted to say thank you to Ginger Joe for having me on the third instalment of his Ante Post series. My selection for you today is Itchy Feet in the Pertemps final. He's available at 25 to 1 with Betfair and Paddy Power, and he is available as big as 28 to 1 with Bet UK and Unibet. He was back to life over hurdles last time out, winning a massive SP of 20 to 1. He was off the mark there at 138, and with a £5 to £7 rise likely, he would be in the Pertemps final off 143 to 145. The trend sweet spot is 138 to 148, and he should find himself bang in the middle of that range. And the connections have confirmed he is going to go for the race. He has always looked a hurdler to me, but he still went on to achieve 155 over fences, including a Grade 1 success in the Scilly Isles. Despite being 9 now, he has only had 8 runs over hurdles, and I think there's more to come from him back over the smaller obstacles. We know he's going to the race. He has the perfect mixture of being lightly raced over hurdles and also has the classy form in the book. And for me, he is overpriced at 25 to 1 and bigger.
Good afternoon, I am Pete, also known as Risk for Rewards on Twitter and on YouTube. And I'm here to give you my selection today for Ginger Joe, and I am going for Brave Man's Game in the Cheltenham Gold Cup. The reason being is I just think he's still overpriced. I think I look at the market and yeah, I understand, just like everyone else, I do agree the most likely winner is Galopin Des Champs, but the market tells you that. Whereas you look through Brave Man's Game's form and bar his one Aintree blip, it's pretty much flawless, and especially as he's been stepped up and gone over fences. To put it quite simply, if Allaho had done what he'd done in the King George, demolishing that field, including Lahon Press, who fell unfortunately, Allaho would probably be maybe 5 to 2 for the Gold Cup now. And that's not an understatement. That's not me saying, oh, that's probably a fact. With Willie Mullins' record and the hype around Allaho, which is rightly so, obviously, because Allaho is an absolute machine. But I would put Allaho in around 5 to 2. And at the moment, currently, you're looking at Brave Man's Game 9, 10 to 1. And the horses that are short of him in the market, you've got Aplutard, who was so impressive last year. Can't fault that, but he's been pulled up in a Betfair chase, not seen since. You've got Noble Yates, who won the Grand National, is yet to prove himself. So he's got to prove himself. Yet Brave Man's Game is a multiple Group 1 winner, and we all saw what he did in the King George. He was also very good in the Charlie Hall. But it's hard to see his flaws. I do understand the whole flat track, maybe not staying the trip, but that's the same for most of them. I wouldn't want to see it getting very heavy, but if the ground is good to soft, pretty similar conditions for what Galopin Des Champs will want. He showed another side to himself when he came back on the bridle, when he ended up going 3 wide. He was jumped into the whole way round. He started getting nudged along, but he came back on the bridle and found more. And that's what impressed me, and that's what made me think, okay, maybe he could have a big chance in the Gold Cup. And in a Gold Cup where plenty have got chinks in their armour, I think he's got less than most, and he's almost double figures. So Brave Man's Game for the Cheltenham Gold Cup.
Hello everybody, how are we? Hope you're all well. It's Harry Beard here from the Only Fools of Horses podcast. I've been kindly asked this week to present a horse for you all for the Cheltenham Festival on his Ante Post series. So I am going to do so, and I've taken a look away from the championship races and I've dived into the Martin Pipe, and I think I found one at a very nice price, especially at 25 to 1. It's Gordon Elliott trained firm footings. Now he's got some eye-catching form behind Grange Clare West, for example, on his penultimate start. I think he was a little bit disappointing today, finished third behind another Willie Mullins horse, but if he went into Cheltenham with a win under his belt in a maiden hurdle, I think he could be a massive player, and it's 25 to 1, he can have a little bit of my money. So firm footings for the Martin Pipe. Make sure you go and watch this video.
Hi guys, it's James here from the Rein It In Horse Racing podcast. My Cheltenham Ante Post tip is Imagine in the Martin Pipe, trained by Gordon Elliott, owned by Caldwell Construction, a race that Gordon definitely likes to target, and I think this could be his one this year. He's been currently running all his races at 2 miles, a big galloping sort who will definitely be suited by the step-up in trip. He was due to run in the Lawlers and Ace last time, was pulled out on account of the ground, will definitely be suited by that better spring ground. He's got some notable entries over the weekend, including one at Wetherby in the UK and a couple over in Ireland. We're definitely interesting to see how he gets on and what mark he might be given. But yeah, I think that could be the race for him. Cheers.
Hello, this is Alex from the Cheltenham Exchange. Joe's asked me to come on today and give a selection for the Cheltenham Festival 2023. Now, firstly, I'd like to say thank you to Joe for the invite, and also best of luck with everybody else that's on the show, with us all trying to find a few winners if we can. Now, the horse I'd like to put up today is called Queen's Gamble. She's the best price currently of 8 to 1, and you can get non-run a new bet with that. Now, the reason why I call it Queen's Gamble, she's actually already been over to the course twice. She's actually won in bumpers twice at Cheltenham. She won in April, beating a horse called Mullenbeg, who I think is a good yardstick. And then she came back again this autumn, and she won again in a bumper here, beating a horse I really like called Bonte. Now, the bumper form over in Ireland hasn't worked out particularly great for a lot of these horses. A lot of them have all been sort of beating each other, and there seems to be a hype horse every week that seems to keep getting beaten. So I think the bumper winner this year is going to come from this side of the Irish Sea. And to me, she looks like the best of all the bumper horses over here. And she gets that very valuable £7 claim as well as a mare. So best of luck with your bets, and good luck for the festival.
Hi viewers, Bo from the Rein It In podcast here. This week I'm going to side with Lord Accord in the Ultima at 28 to 1. He came onto my radar in October when he won at the Cheltenham meeting. He kind of won by 4.5 lengths, travelled into the race brilliantly, and kind of idled when he got to the front. After that, he ran a nice race against Frodon in receipt of a lot of weight, but he paddled the last seat, so you never know what might have happened. And then he didn't really run much of a race in the Coral Trophy, but I think he might have been a bit over the top. The trainer, Neil Mulholland, he won the race before with Druid's Nephew, and like Druid's Nephew, Lord Accord ran in the Cleve Hurdle this week, probably to protect that mark a bit. So, yeah, I think 28 to 1, I think is quite a big price. We already know this is where he's going, and I think he's got a few pound up his sleeve, so that's my pick.